Shalom, shalom. This is the brother One. Back with another lesson. First and foremost, as always, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKadosh. Double honors goes to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the brothers out there that's doing this work. Truth and sincerity. So once again, we have to bring this news out because it ain't going away. And this is for all of those that are in denial about this motb that's on its way. Through the likes of the CBDC, the crash of the economies. And there's a lot of things involved in the establishment of Esau's New World Order, man. You've got the talks of these 15-minute cities to control the masses, to keep them all boxed in the same place, or restrict their movements, and this whole CBDC that they want to create is to govern the money, to track the money in real time, see what you're spending your money on, to control what you're spending your money on. The simple fact of the matter is that once you don't have tangible cash that you can grip hold of, you don't have anything anymore. We barely have anything with this so-called money that we use now. There's no tender, there's no backing of it. There's nothing backing this money. It's not real tender, right? So we're already trapped with that. But once it gets to that next stage, which is they know that's ultimate control, man. So and let me read a bit of this, and I'll talk a bit more. Something else I wanted to mention, but so this is Observer. This is yesterday's news, I believe. Fears that UK's cashless society will leave more than just the vulnerable behind. Everyone's going to be vulnerable, man. Like China, for example, has a social credit system, right, where you get points deducted or lowered on your credit scores, right? If you're seen littering or maybe loitering or being obnoxious or loud in public, or just things like that, man. That's the ultimate form of control, because those small things are what people do every single day, right? And when it comes to cameras now, they're surpassing every other country on the planet. There's cameras absolutely everywhere, man. And these cameras can track your movements, track your facial expressions, determine what mood you're in. That almost reminds me of that film when they arrest people for crimes that they haven't committed yet. I can't remember the name of the film. Great film. Anyway, so yeah, I forgot what track I was on, but let's read this again anyway. So it says there have long been concerns that older people will suffer as we ditch coins and notes, but other groups such as tourists may also be affected. So yeah, as my point I was making was, everyone's going to be affected, man. Everyone that accepts. Well, look, first and foremost, let's separate the facts, because the CBDC is the CBDC. The CBDC is not the motb, right? Let's just make that clear. It's a digital currency, right? It is not the motb. This is going to help establish the motb, right? Because you don't have to have the motb in order to make a CBDC work. And I was just to make sure people know what I'm talking about. Say a central bank digital currency does not require a RFID chip, okay? But ultimately, that's the road they're going down. So yeah, everyone's going to be affected, man. So it says Armando Bordalo, SR, planned ahead before coming to London for a 5-day trip this summer, exchanging euros for sterling at a good rate to pay for meals, tickets to events, and other expenses. But by the end of his short trip, much of it went unused because so many places no longer accept cash, and he had racked up a series of unwanted charges from his bank in Portugal. First and foremost, if we have legal tender in this country, so called, with these banknotes, right? There should be no place where you are not allowed, where they should be refusing your money. All right, there's no laws for that. But they've slowly used the C19, right, to establish new laws, man. All right, that's how smart the wicked are, man. Since the heart is deep, they know how to manipulate things. You know, they use these instances to change the laws, man. The ordinances to bend, things to their will, man. So now you walk into places. There's places that don't even have any cash anymore. I know a few places where on my travels, and it shouldn't be allowed ultimately because we still have cash in this country. It says the UK's rapid shift towards a cashless society ended up costing the 72-year-old from Lisbon dearly. When he tried to charge his Oyster card, his only option was to use a debit card, while the shops at Tate Britain and a number of other museums were cashless. When he tried to buy an £8 adapter from the vending machine of his hotel, it was card only. So they're pushing it, towards this, man. All right, slowly but surely, man. And people are just, people are foolish, man. They're just accepting their fate. What I want to mention also is that there's a lot of talk about, these African nations ditching Europe and America, and the dollar is going to crash and America's going to be in deep shit. When I look at the end of the day, man, what do you think these people want? They don't want the dollar around. How are they going to establish a CBDC and then the motb if the dollar still exists? Right now, it's not. They haven't established all of that yet, so they still want the dollar to be the dominant power. When it comes to monetary power, economic power. They still want the dollar to be in control until the time is right, man. You honestly think that these African nations are gonna rise above it all? Right? The scriptures tell you that Esau's in charge, man. Right? The wicked are in charge in this earth, man. And until they attempt to establish that new world order, right? And what World War III is popping off, that's when it's ending. It's not going to end until that time. They're going to be in power until that time. Right, let me get a quick scripture that I actually, where was it now? It's in Job. Was it 19? Do you know what? Let me just do it the easy way. Yeah, Job 14. Right. Job 14:5 says, seeing his days are determined. Yeah, this is really there. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So there's a cutoff point for where Esau can reign, right? But it's that once that gets to that point, it's over. So these things that are happening now are they're just being played out because that's part of the way it's got. That's part of the Lord's plan, basically. right? People are just so dumb. Like, they just don't get it. They think that the simple fact that African countries are, against Europe now and trying to kick the French out of the country and control their own destiny, and no one's in control of their own destiny. Mankind is of the Lord, and that's every man, woman, and child on this earth, man. This is all scripted. Right? People think that if the dollar dies down, America's finished. America's not finished yet. Like, spiritually, it's getting finished, all right. But the powerhouse that it is financially, and the dominance it has, worldwide, but just with media and whatnot, and indoctrination, is still very strong. Let's see if there's anything else to read in this, because there's nothing to read all this, so I'm just getting to the point. Right, so it says Britain has been at the forefront of the switch to a cashless society, a trend which is even more pronounced in the capital especially since the pandemic. Which there's probably soon is going to be another one of those. They're talking about it, and they're talking up already about what they do next time. So you gotta watch for these devils, man. The scripture says, the Lord calls if, let me just get it. Let me just get it, man. Yeah, in fact, let me read all of this. Psalm 64. It says, hear my voice, O Yahweh, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Yeah, we don't fear what he's doing. We know what the deal is. He's already lost. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. All right, the secret counsel. All this plotting and scheming that they're doing behind the scenes, man. Right? There's so many players involved in this. The corporations, the banks, the religious sectors, the media, everything, the school, the education system, all the governments are all in cahoots. This is all a plan, man. And everybody, they're all involved. So hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. What they do is bring about sin, man. Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. And the perfect is, it's all about Israel, man. It's all about Israel, all right? Because if the Edomites, if Esau could destroy us as a nation completely, then who is there to have the next kingdom, man? But he can't do that. And the scriptures tell you that the kingdom is passed from one to another, man. Paraphrasing, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which followeth, man. So their time is short. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. The traps. They're laying their traps. That's a trap. It's a trap. Right? Getting you to fall for this tap in, tap here, contactless. Right? And that's the dumb. I just got to say this as well. It's a silly side note, but this is how people are, man. Like they tell you these cards you have are contactless, but yet you see everyone tapping it, making contact, not understanding the simple technology that they have, where you don't actually need to make contact with your card to whatever device you're trying to pay on, man. It just shows you how stupid people are. That's all I want to say there. It says who they say who shall see them? Well, the Most High's watching it, man, through his eyes, man. It says his eyes are, what was it, one 1,000 more times brighter than the sun. If I'm saying that right, let me jump back to this in a minute, because I just want to get these instead of if I can get it. What am I doing? What am I getting wrong here? I'm determined. Is it brighter or brilliant? Right, let's try brilliant. I can't think of how it goes again. Well, maybe I'll come back to that then. Let's read this anyway. So it says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both in the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. So the heart, meaning the mind, man, they're not messing around, basically, man. They think they got all bases covered, man. It says, but Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So you know, yeah. What was it? What was I saying about? Yeah, because I was talking about how they're already talking up the next pandemic and all of that, and how they're going to do this, that, and the other, and what sort of how quick the vaccine is going to roll out and all this stuff. So they're transforming upon themselves, because those that are listening, there's those that hear and those that listen, and those that are listening know what they're planning. It says, and all men shall fear and declare the work of Yahweh, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. I mean, we ain't worried about this. Esau's the one that should be worried. But I really want to find that see if I can just type this in. This I was there. I thought so. Maybe it's not for me to find right now. Sometimes you have to accept defeat. So we'll leave that one. It'll probably come to me later. But that is annoying when you can't find what you want. I'll read this part. So it says, figures from banking body UK Finance show that almost half of all payments were made with debit cards in 2021. Newer ways of paying set to almost completely eclipse cash within a decade. We expect usage to continue to fall, with cash forecast to account for only 6% of all payments made in the UK by 2031, it says. And then you got these guys that, these truthers and what they call what they like to call conspiracy theorists, talking about how we should keep using cash, so they can't. It doesn't matter what you think, you can just keep using cash. If we all did that, they just do what they want, man. These people do what they want. They showed you that in the pandemic. They do and tell you what they want, and you can't do anything about it. So anyway, let me just read this last piece, and I'm going to close out on this, man. You know where I'm going. As always, need to drum this in, man. Revelation 13 and 15, and he, meaning Esau, the wicked, had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you don't get down with this, you're gonna lay down, man. All right, and that laying down, you ain't getting up again, man. And many of them, and some men of the Lord are gonna have to go out that way, right? But no matter how you go out, man, if you survive to the end till your house child comes back, or if you get taken out, man, if you're in the Lord, man, you're good, right? You made it, right? And He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. That's just telling you that it's Esau, man. He is the devil that that the Bible speaks of, man. So anyway, I was going to read some more, but you know what? I'm going to close out on that one. I was going to make it shorter than this, but as always, I say that in my mind, and it never works out that way. Anyway, that's it on that. Lord, when it was edifying, I'll close out giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Ha, Wadash. You know, let's go, man. Let's hope, Lord willing, the Lord's going to speed this up. And the world's going absolutely bananas right now, man. There's so much going on, so much kicking off, so many things being exposed, right? And we know we're close, man. So yeah, with that, I'll say shalom to the next one. Shalom.